Hi, welcome to the Hyperfixated Fan. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Hunter.
And today we are talking about Hunter's favorite thing.
SK8 the Infinity.
Yes, the skateboarding anime.
The skateboarding anime. My absolute favorite thing in the whole world. This has been an ongoing hyperfixation for, I think, close to 3 years now.
A long time.
And it's still going extremely strong.
Extremely strong.
God. So this is mostly going to be me talking today.
And me commenting a little bit.
I was telling Rachel that when I was like putting together notes to try and organize my thoughts for this, it completely filled up, because I keep my notes in Discord, and it completely filled up the max character amount for 2 full Discord messages and then most of a third.
Which is so funny, because I was like, Discord has message limits? Like, I don't know. I don't use Discord that much.
So I have like so
and
many
also
thoughts.
like I made like very few notes because I was like, Hunter's gonna have a bunch of stuff to talk about.
You are correct.
So we decided to talk about this because it was requested by one of our listeners. So shout out to you. Thank you. You know who you are.
So for anyone who is unfamiliar, SK8 the Infinity is a delightful, wonderful sports anime. It is 12 and a half episodes long, and within those 12 and a half episodes, they do include a beach episode.
Yes.
The premise is, it starts out following this boy, Reki. There's a new kid in his class, Longa. And Reki just wants a friend to skateboard with him, and he introduces Longa to the world of S, an illegal skateboarding race down a mountain.
Yeah.
And then through chaos, one of the founders of S rejoins Adam, and
it has some conflict.
There's so much chaos and lots of cool skateboarding races, lots of skateboarding gimmicks, and just wonderful family vibes, honestly, and also like very sweet like relationships of all kinds.
Yeah.
And just also skateboarding is cool.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking about this. I was like, this is one of the only like canon gay animes, really.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like, I mean, depending on your definition of canon, like,
yeah,
I definitely think it's canon gay.
I mean, the English voice actors absolutely played it that way.
Yes.
The Japanese, like, there's so many blatant implications in the wording, and as well as in how things are played in even the Japanese writing and the Japanese acting. It is canon without being explicitly canon.
Yeah, I think it's canon.
I actually have a note in here about English versus Japanese versus Spanish.
Ooh.
Just a little bit, which I'll touch on in like a minute, but because my friend Media compared the dubs for me.
Oh, right, because she speaks Spanish.
Yes. So she was able to give me some interesting fun facts on that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there are 8 main characters.
Oh gosh. Are there?
There are! So
I think there's 4, but
you cannot steal them from my heart. All of them are 8. Well, I don't know if I love all of them, but they all count.
They're all big on Hunter's brain.
They all count. So Reki Cayenne, he's your classic sunshine boy.
Yeah. His like symbol is literally sunflower, or did you make that up?
I made that one up.
Okay, well,
technically
it's a very good association.
It is. Technically, his flower symbolism established in the show is like a hyacinth, I believe. No, not a hyacinth. I love.
That's super gay.
No, it's wrong flower. It's the it's the one that's on his shirt in the beach episode.
I don't know.
Red.
Poppy?
No, it's a tropical.
Hibiscus.
Thank you. Hibiscus flower.
Cool.
That is his flower symbolism.
Okay.
But sunflower is the one I gave him, and usually actually sunflower is given to Joe as his symbolism by the fans.
I can see that
which
too.
It makes sense because his
like
whole thing is the sun.
Yeah.
But he's very much your sunshine boy. He's very chipper, very encouraging of his friends, which is very interesting for his main storyline.
Yeah, he also has a lot of intense emotions.
He feels things very, very intensely.
And Langa does not.
No.
I mean, he feels things, but not as intensely as Reki does.
Yeah.
And I relate to that.
Yeah, Langa is our second major character, Langa Hasegawa.
Langa's my favorite.
I love my sweet boy Langa. He moves to Japan with his mother after his father passes. He's very quiet. He is just, for a while, you think he's just kind of like following Reki around because he just doesn't really do things as exuberantly.
Yeah.
But he gets invested
in reserved.
Yeah, he's very reserved, but he gets invested in skateboarding so fucking fast and so fucking hard.
Yeah.
And honestly,
hyperfixation.
Honestly, autistic Langa for the win.
Yes.
And he gets assigned the skateboard name of Snow.
Which works because, like, he's from Canada.
And he used to be a snowboarder.
Yep.
So he skates extremely uniquely.
It's so funny because he, like, tapes his feet to the board at one point.
Yeah, so he can ride it like a snowboard.
That's like the first time I think he does it, yeah.
Reki does not have a skate name. He just never gets one, except maybe Red, but, like, mostly they're just calling him the red-headed kid who tags along with Snow.
Yeah, it's his nickname.
Bless his heart. He's very good at building skateboards and crafting them to the rider. So
engineer.
He is. So he builds Langa a skateboard that he can ride like a snowboard with like wheels, like the axles like turn and spin, so that he can like still like make his turns like he's on a snowboard. It's wild.
It's very sweet.
It's so cool. My absolute favorite character in the whole show, Kaoru Sakurayashiki, also known as Cherry Blossom, the AI skater.
Yeah.
He's
pink.
He's pink. He's pink. He's so cool. He's
punk.
In high school. Oh my god, he's like so punk. He's got like so many piercings. He's got like he's just like a hot mess. I love him so much. When he grows up, he wears like traditional Japanese clothing, and then when he's like skating, he's got like a mask and this like blend of like futuristic / traditional clothing.
It looks cool.
And he has an AI named Carla, whom I love so much, and who helps him skate better and also helps him do his work in his day-to-day job. He's the biggest nerd, and I adore him. Kaoru and the next I'm gonna say are both like adults. I say adults. They're 27 years old.
We're adults. We're the same age.
We're older than them.
I'm the same age.
You're the same age. I'm older, and I hate that they're so successful. He's like a famous calligrapher. Yeah. And then the next one, Kojiro Nanjo, goes by Joe at S.
He's green.
He's green. He's his whole gimmick is being hot and strong. Those are literally his gimmicks. He's called the six-pack skater.
Cherry calls him Gorilla.
He does. But Joe calls Kaoru Four Eyes. They have so many creative insults. It's how they show love. It's fine. That and like beating each other up.
They're cute.
And I love them. And they're in love. And I'm pretty sure they're married. And it's great.
So, side note on this before I forget, like
go for it.
Joe and Cherry, like they give me huge Eraser Mike vibes. Like from My Hero, because it's like they could either be married or they could be pining so hard for each other. Like it could go either way, and I just feel like it's the same thing because they're both of them are like kind of like parents to kids.
Yeah.
So I have to say that.
They are also very Muqing and Fengxian coded.
Yeah.
So,
just like the always being like at each other's throat as well.
Is it any surprise that after my obsession with skate, that Muqing ended up being my favorite?
No.
Anyway, as soon as I said that to Media when we were talking about it, she was just like, of course you're going to be a Muqing girly. I should have seen this coming. I was like, I am nothing if not predictable, but what does that mean? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
We all have our things.
We all have our things. But Joe is wonderful. He's a chef at an Italian restaurant, Sia La Luce, and I love him. He's nice. He is an inexcusable flirt, non-stop flirt.
Yeah.
He is literally introduced to the show by like a girl on each arm, and he's kissing both of them. But to be fair, Kaoru is introduced to the show by sitting in his studio, opening it's like the middle of the night, he's opening a briefcase of cash. He gives this smile that looks really ominous, and then that's it, and it's never touched on again. Not once.
That's great.
And am begging to know what that scene was about.
He's a secret mob boss, that's what it is.
I believe it.
I could believe it too, it's very possible.
It would fit his vibes,
yes,
honestly.
Definitely.
So those are like generally the core 4 that people refer to
as
like the main characters.
Yeah.
However, I refuse to believe that Mia is not a main character.
Okay.
Mia Cheenan, he is a middle schooler. He is a little cat boy. He is a brat, and I love him.
He's so funny.
He's a little asshole, and he is wonderful. He literally like shows up after like Longa does one good skateboard ride, disappears for weeks, and then Mia just shows up in the skate shop and is just like, "Hi, beef me, race me, and I will beat you because I'm good at skating and video games." Yeah. And Longa's like, "Okay, sounds fun. Let's do it, I guess." And it's just like, and then Mia loses because skateboard anime, and Mia's just like, "I've lost everything. I don't have anything in my life." And it's just like, "Hi, let's do that again. That was fun. Let's be friends."
Yeah.
And Reki's just like, "Hi, you're our friend now, whether you like it or not," and that is a threat.
And Mia throws like a hissy fit about it, but he gets over it.
And now they're best friends forever. Yeah.
Mia gives me big, like, trans mask energy, and I like it.
His phone is a pan-romantic flag. His phone case is.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Or not pan-romantic, I guess. It's just pan. There's no specifics.
Oh, yeah.
As far as I know.
Romantic.
I just assumed. But,
that's
like,
our bias.
That's on me. That's just the words that came out. But,
a pan flag.
But the pan flag.
Yeah.
So that's just a fun little detail.
This show is very LGBT.
And I do say Catboy. I'm not trying to be weird with that. He just literally his hoodie that he wears to S has cat ears and a cat tail.
Yeah.
And he refers to like cats as his little angels. Like it's a thing with him.
Like meows, right?
He threatens to turn Reki into his little his cat or his dog, or no, as his like little house cat, I think is what it was.
Yeah, he's got a whole cat boy thing.
Yeah, if he wins the race against Longa, it's like
it's funny.
It's like, you're a middle schooler. I need you to not be this weird yet. I mean, like I know middle schoolers are weird anyway and can be cat boys, but it was the referring to turning Reki into his cat. I was like, okay, you can't do that. Everything else, I love what you got going, but like you can't be doing this yet, Mia. I love him. He's my son. Okay. Then, so usually in like art or whatever, everyone gets paired off. So, Reki and Longa obviously get paired off. Kaoru and Kojiro usually get paired off. Mia tends to get paired off, not in any capacity romantically, just for art purposes or whatever, with Hirumi Higa, who is Shadow. Yeah. Shadow, it was supposed to be a 1-episode villain, just villain of the week.
For the first episode.
Loses the beef, disappears forever, except people loved him. He is the punk clown of S.
And he's a flower shop boy.
He doesn't own. He works at a flower shop. He has a crush on his manager. He's so really cute. Sweet, except when he's at S, where he just yells at people and shines lasers in their eyes and like puts firecrackers in their way to scare them.
That's
and he's
therapeutic.
But all of his like stupid trick attacks are named after flowers in his shop.
So sweet.
He's an asshole, but like we love him. And it's really funny because he goes from like this horrible guy who like makes Reki burn his skateboard to like their uncle who they make drive them around all the time.
It's very cute, the development.
He's truly wonderful. I love Shadow so much, and I
like him too.
He's just a delight.
Yeah.
Final 2 of our main core. There is Kikuchi Tadashi, who is just he's just a guy. Is the thing. He's truly just a guy. His face is very plain. He is a personal assistant to a politician. He runs the Catmen who keep everything going at S.
He's a bit forgettable.
He's almost entirely forgettable for the first almost like 8 episodes of the show or something like that. But he does eventually like jump in, and he's one of the best skaters at S, and his the name he gives himself is Snake, which is symbolic, and I'll get to that. But Tadashi, the man Tadashi works for, is Inosuke Shindo.
Gag.
Who is the politician.
I don't like this guy.
Who is also one of the founders of S, along with Kaoru and Kojiro. And so the thing is, like, Adam, fascinating character. truly am interested to see where they go with him. If we get a season 2, we're announced for 4 OVAs later on, one of which is going to feature high school Kaoru and Kojiro. Very excited about that. I'm interested to see how we explore Adam's character from the end of season 1. Very fascinated with like his backstory. Like, it's great. He's a well-written character. Yeah. I just also hate him.
I hate him too.
I just very much hate him.
He's a dick.
He's a perv.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
He did this. There's like one in the very first scene. Well, not the very first scene. The very first scene we see him, he's watching all the cameras at S, watching like Longa's first beef, and he is playing classical music and shirtless in his office, so watching the show, and you're just like, what? Anyone could walk in on you doing this.
I don't like those
which
vibes.
Is like I mean, I guess you live here, so that's fine. But you are also spying on, again, an illegal skateboard race
with kids.
It's anyway. The second time we really see him, like truly see him, is right after Mia's race with Longa, Mia's like really down. Reki gets mad at Adam for like being mean to Mia. Yeah. And Adam is just like, I couldn't care less about either of you. Don't talk to me. However, Blue Boy, hello Longa, hello little Longa-kun.
And you're like, Reki so mad.
But he walks up and he's just like, hi, I'm going to just move my hands around your leg to show you how you could position it better. And he doesn't touch him. I don't like it. But he does just kind of wiggle his hands around his leg. And it was like that very moment
of personal space
where I was just like, I can't ever look at this man. I hate him so much.
Yeah, he's got bad vibes.
The shame is he is the coolest design. It's a very cool design. His costume, so over the top, so dramatic. It's neat. He's got little fangs. I'm into that.
I like the fangs.
He's got a cool design, and then he just has to be this. And I'm like, God, stay away from my children, please. Yeah. I'm begging you. Yeah. And that's Adam, which I will remind you, Tadashi, his skate name is Snake. Adam is looking for his Eve, and Tadashi stepped in as the snake.
Like in the Garden of Eden.
To fucking ruin his Eden. Yeah. There's so much I could go on about the whole Eve-Eden metaphor, and we'll see if we have time for that. We probably won't. We'll see. But we'll see. Some other characters I won't go in as deep. These are major characters in my heart. Shokichi Oka. I love Oka. He is Reki cool. and Longa's boss at the skate shop.
Literally the only adult who is responsible.
I mean, is he though? He does just like drive the boys to S.
I guess.
And he's like, hey, Longa, have you considered wearing knee pads when you go race the homicidal maniac? Yeah, and Longa's like, no, I don't think I will. And he's like, well, I did my best. Oh God. But I love him. He's great. He has a pet fennec fox named Sketchy.
The fennec fox is so cute.
Sketchy's adorable. I love Sketchy. I've already mentioned Carla, Kaoru's AI. Yeah. She's wonderful. Kiriko Kamata is a police detective whose only goal in the show is to prove that Inosuke, Adam, has committed crimes as a politician so she can arrest him. That's her whole goal in the season. And I really hope we revisit that in season 2 because I want her to succeed so Girl bad. Boss. She deserves it. Maze Kaien and Nanako Hasegawa. So those are moms. Reki and Longa's moms are both incredibly wonderful women.
Yeah, I love Longa's mom.
She's so sweet. Yeah. And Maze I think is just funny because she's just running around with like 4 children, 2 of which are twin toddlers.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
God bless her. And then Koyomi Kaien, who is Reki's oldest sister, still younger than him. Mm-hmm. She's just doing her best. She is the one who really kind of notices when Reki hits a tough spot. Yeah. And does her best to help him out.
We love the sibling support.
We love sibling support on this podcast.
Yes.
Okay, so those are characters. I will dive into ships.
Okay.
Just briefly. So we are going to start with top tier ships. Obviously Ranga, which is Reki and Langa.
Yes.
Our boys are wonderful together. They're very sweet. They also get a moment of, it's so great. We have a breakup in the show before they're ever technically together. And it sucks and it hurts and like, dear God, I cried.
It's a really good depiction of like a teenage relationship, like
it's
a first
so wonderful.
love. I think it's really good.
Yeah, because it's not even like a breakup over something petty. You can understand both sides of it.
Yeah, you can.
And it's because it's a lot of it is over. Some of it it's Adam is technically the driving source.
Yeah,
but it's also where they stand in their interests and
their
what
decisions.
the reason for their interests are.
Yeah, exactly.
And just the miscommunication and all that.
Like, you can have differing opinions about things, too,
yes.
and have those be a big deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
I just love,
it's so
they're
good.
great. And also, like, there's this really one funny part where, like, Longa's talking to his mom about, like, I don't even know what it, I haven't seen it in so long, but it's about, like, what do I do if I'm, like, in a fight with my, like, partner?
Yeah, I messed up, I broke a promise with someone.
Yeah, and so Longa's mom was like, oh my God, like, he has a girlfriend, like, I have to, like, this is, like, his partner, and then...
You really like this person, right?
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I do.
It's like a little blush.
Yeah.
I was like, well, just, tell her what happened and, communicate and you'll do fine. And then there's like this pause and then she goes, just tell her, like, she's a lucky girl. And Longa's just like, girl? And then there's this, like, pause.
Says girl, question mark, and the mom is like, oh.
What? It's so cute. It's really just the sweetest moment.
It's great, like.
Just one wonderful thing about Nanako, about his mom, is that every time she wants to have like a serious conversation with him. Like she notices he's down, or she notices he's got bruises and scrapes all over him because he keeps falling off his skateboard and she doesn't realize that he's started skating. She looks at the picture of Oliver, her dead husband.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what am I going to do? If I try to talk to him now, he'll just close up. How do you approach this?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Oliver, help me! It's just so sweet.
It's very sweet. And I like that because sometimes, like, in fiction, you have, like, a widowed parent, like, completely not talk about their dead spouse at all.
Yeah.
And
or it's, like, the only focus.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good balance where she's, like, she's clearly feeling the loss. She talks, at one point we see her talk with a coworker about it, where she's like, I was worried that Longa was just kind of stuck and he's moved on, but they both talk about Oliver and their relationship to Oliver and what's changed, and it's just like, it's so good. It's
a very good depiction.
Next top tier ship is Matcha Blossom, which is the name of the ship for Kaoru and Kojiro, because Kojiro is green because of his hair, so that's the matcha. Kaoru is cherry blossom, so that's the blossom. And they are truly the married and or divorced couple. They truly are like all out beating each other up at S and or in Kojiro's restaurant. But they also have known each other literally since they were like in kindergarten together. And so this is just their relationship. It's how they show love.
They have insane sexual tension.
God, don't they? They're wonderful. That they're truly my obsession. That's the thing that the hyperfixation, like, I've got, it's all of them, but it's mostly them.
Yeah.
And they are just so good. They're so good, y'all. They're so good. Next is now this one is listed third only because it is like, no, you know what? No, I'm here for it. Okay. Tadai, which is Adam and Tadashi, which now I'm going to be clear with you guys. This is not a healthy relationship necessarily. Adam definitely is, like, Adam is he's Tadashi's boss. He has control issues. He does threaten.
He's not nice.
He threatens a couple of times that he is going to, like, if we get caught doing this terrible thing as a politician, I am going to blame it all on you, Tadashi.
Yeah.
However, at the end, he said he was never going to do that and actually had a whole other, like, system set in place. And he's like, that was never going to happen. Okay. And actually, I had you protected. And there seems to be some sort of potential start for a redemption for Adam towards the end. We're not entirely clear on where that storyline may or may not end.
There was like a tease of that.
Mm-hmm. We also know that their whole thing is pet play, canonically, Because because at the end, like, Adam calls Tadashi puppy through the whole show.
Oh, I do remember
the whole show. And at the very end, after he reveals, like, oh yeah, I was never actually going to sacrifice you, he said, he's like, I can't let my puppy go away, or something like that. And Tadashi looks so delighted to have heard those words. And it's just like, oh, Tadashi, we got to work on something with you. I think self-confidence, but you know, if you're happy here, we'll let it go for now. Again, like, sometimes very good, sometimes very bad, but that can be good to read. Sometimes, you know, whatever. It's I've seen so many different versions of this. Yeah. And it's great. Yeah. Final top tier ship is Shadoka, which is Shadow and Oka, which I personally adore.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. Spoilers, Shadow attempts to confess to his manager and then finds out she's already dating someone and at the end of the show, so he is like devastated. But like, look, him and Oka, like, who's like the most normal guy, and just like they could just be so cute and happy together. I truly believe
that. I could see that.
Not to mention Oka feels more adventurous, and like Shadow may be like the crazy punk clown, but he's also just like
shy.
He's so shy. They would just be good for each other.
They would.
Okay, some honorable mention ships.
Okay.
So there's Love Blossom or Love Matcha Blossom. This is usually, if you see the word love in a skate ship, that means Adam.
Yeah.
So these are usually high school versions or like dealing with the fallout of high school. So that's Adam and Kaoru, or Adam with Joe and Kaoru.
You can have a lot of variations stuff happening there.
Absolutely. Because that's where the three of them all met, was in high school.
There's a lot of emotion there.
There's so much. A lot of the time it's Cherry being in love with Adam playing along with it, and Joe being heartbroken as he watches Kaoru get heartbroken. It's usually the series of events. God, it gives you such good angst, you guys.
Yeah,
this chaos here, so delicious.
If you like angst, you'd like that.
God. Now, I'm gonna pull a kink tomato here. This one's not for me, but it is, I think, relevant in that it is in a form semi-canon. And that's the Eden ship, which is Adam with Langa. And that is like Adam, we mentioned earlier, Adam is looking for his Eve. He wants to find his perfect match who can follow him into Eden, which in this case was more metaphorical, but it's like he's finding someone who can match him truly on his level in skateboarding, and they can like reach the zone together.
That's the appeal of the ship.
Yeah, and Langa could match him. Yeah. So he is Adam's Eve, and so like there's a lot you can play with in that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's where the Eden ship comes from. It's not personally my thing, but like...
Yeah, it's personally not my thing either, because I love Langa and I hate Adam, but I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, so like fully
we're not ship haters here. No. I am totally like, do your own thing, like we all have our preferences.
Absolutely. So yeah, kink tomato, standard, all that jazz. And in case anyone is unfamiliar, I know that's an older fandom term, so it's technically YKINMKATO. Your kink is not my kink, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Kink tomato.
We respect people here. We do not talk shit.
Exactly. I mean, we may a little, but like only for our own personal taste, and like you guys
like judgmental.
Exactly. And then the last one. This is personally for me a platonic ship, but I like love it, and that's Mia with Reki's sister Koyomi. Because I believe that the two of them should join forces to torment Reki together. And I love that.
That's so funny.
Also, we know that Mia had a friend in middle school that he used to skate with, Takashi, who they had a big like friendship breakup a while back, but then looked to be maybe making repairs at the end of the season. And I personally think they could potentially maybe get together, maybe. Yeah. And I think that's cute. That's not technically in my honorable mentions because I forgot to write them, but that's okay.
That's okay.
That's it for ships. I do want to talk fanfic and fan art.
Okay.
So first of all, this fandom has incredible artists.
It does.
There's so many good artists, and I really wish I'd thought to grab like a bunch of different names. I can only recommend at this point Media because I love her art so much.
You're biased.
I'm incredibly biased. I have commissioned her a number of times. You can see her art in my fics, which
but unbiased opinion, Media's art is good.
Yeah, it's so good. She just put out a piece for Cherry's birthday, which was March 27th, of like a high school Cherry, and it's stunning. And you can see I've commissioned her so many times for my fics, and will continue to do so. But like you can just look on Twitter and find a ton. I'm going to like absolutely flood the Discord with artists because I have so many on Twitter, and I would look some up now, but I'm honestly I'm doing better on time than I thought I was.
Keep going.
Yeah, I cannot stop. But I do want to let you guys know, I told you that this hyperfixation has been going for like probably 3 years. And I say that because I looked at my AO3, which if anyone is curious, Aralana765, you can find all my shit there. I might be the same on fanfiction.net, but like I don't know that I want to recommend any of those two. I'm not ashamed of them. I'm not ashamed of any of them.
That's so funny.
I'm pretty sure it's the same name. I'm not ashamed of any of my fics on there. They're just no longer relevant to my interests, and I recognize that like I wrote those in middle and high school or something like that.
So long ago.
So like I recognize the skill issue.
Oh my
God. Read them if you want, but just know what you're getting into.
I had an account on fanfiction.
Oh, I super did.
I was too young.
Bitch, I wrote Cats fanfiction.
Yes.
I did that.
The middle school years.
Yeah, I wrote like fucking self-insert Doctor Who fic, like you know, that's where all the cringe stuff is.
Yeah.
And I do not regret.
No.
But we're talking skate. So, but yes, so I said like 3 years because I looked back at my AO3. My very first skate fic that I posted was in October of 22, 21? What did I say?
21, I 21. Think you said.
So wait, is that? Yeah, that's 2.5 years ago. And that was the very first installment of my Sunflower series. Since then, I've written 9 parts of Sunflower. Total I've written 9 parts of this Sunflower series, which is a focus on... I realized Reki and Cherry have a whole lot of similarities, and I was like, what if Cherry takes Reki under his wing and is like, hello, how about I teach you programming? And Reki is like, fuck yeah, let's go. I recently just posted new precedent for a fic exchange.
Oh, really? You just posted that?
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
And that is an AU about high school, or just post-high school Cherry and Joe. Yeah. They're like 23, 24 or something. Where Cherry, in the time Joe was away studying culinary school in Italy, Cherry changed his skate identity. And Joe, for whatever reason, thinks that Cherry stopped going to S, and now there's this new person at S. And he starts trying to flirt with Cherry, or start flirting with Kaoru outside of S, and this new person at S, because he's an idiot.
He has like one brain cell.
He truly does, if that. And I love him for that. I've written The Right Mindset that has 2 parts. I've not been doing word count. Sunflower is currently at 125,000 words. New Precedent is 29,496 words. Right Mindset is a horny fic. It's 2 parts currently. I'm planning on doing maybe 1 or 2 more. That's at 11,058 words currently. So the stories say that is a fantasy AU. At this point, it is 2 parts, 4,554 words, and I have 2 pieces in progress for So the Stories Say, which is, again, that it's fantasy with evil Kaoru because he deserves it. And that is, the current in progress pieces are 38,651 words so far. A one shot I did for, I think like Cherry Week or something, called Doubt Comes In and Meets a Stranger. I got really into, and Orpheus and Eurydice metaphor.
Yeah.
That's 2,542 words. And then a current mystery project that I'm not allowed to talk about technically is at 49,527 words.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So in 2.5 years, for only SK8 the Infinity, I've written 260,831 words of fan fiction.
Wow.
And honestly, I am very proud of that.
Yes, definitely. That is an accomplishment for sure.
Let's see.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I love it. I'm having fun.
That's crazy. Like, good job. Like, I think it's great that, like, media can, like, inspire such creativity in people.
Yeah, it's so fun. And it's really great, because reading, there's so many fics in the fandom, and they cover everything.
Yes.
Like, there's such good AUs, there's such good, like, in-canon fics, and post-canon fics, and pre-canon fics, and you can get really good, like, high school Cherry and them, like, era stuff. Like, you can get pretty much anything you need within this fandom, which I adore. Everyone is so creative.
It's great.
Let's see. Which thing do I want to go? I did want to briefly discuss, the translations. We'll go translations next. God, I have so many notes, you guys. So I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
The English versus Japanese versus Spanish. It's been a while since this conversation, so I don't remember too many exact details. But, like, from my own experience, the English versus Japanese, there is a lot more direct flirtation within the English translation. Mostly because that's how we...
it's also way more LGBT.
Yes. The Japanese is a little more subtle and a lot within, like, their cultural mores and whatever. The Spanish, which again I am relying on media for this because she can speak Spanish, and was able to do it. She said that the Spanish is kind of along the same lines of English in, like, how flirty it is, but sometimes the flirting is just, like, blatant, but in a, like, this is going to sound really weird, blatant in a subtle way. So
there is no heterosexual explanation for it.
Kind of, yeah. So, like, the one specific example that I remember was at one point Kojiro refers to Kaoru as guapo, handsome. I think it, like, I think in the English version they call him pretty boy, and so in the Spanish they just call him guapo. In the onsen scene on the beach episode, when they're talking about the haunted houses, because Koshiro mentions that he likes haunted houses because he likes having the pretty girls cling on to him. However, instead of saying, like, one of the more common versions of, like, pretty, he says guapa. He says handsome girls hang on to him. Uses the same version of attractive that he uses to describe Kaoru.
Yeah.
So it's, like, just a little more, like, subtler things than that, but it's just, like, things that directly point to Kaoru between the two of them, and it's little details like that. Little shifts in like, I think there was a little shift in the "We're Not Alone, Right, Kaoru" scene, which, if you've not seen the show, I do need to describe this one scene to you right now, because it is my bread and butter. It is everything to me, and it lives in my soul. Kaoru races Adam. Adam fucks him over, and instead of racing and seeing who's better at racing, he stops the race, grabs his skateboard, and smashes it into Cherry's face.
Fatality.
When they're, like, you know, plummeting down a mountain at high speeds. So it does cause a lot of damage to Kaoru, and Kaoru has to go to the hospital, and for a little bit, people are very concerned about whether he's going to live or die. Obviously, he survives. He's okay. He is in a wheelchair for, like, the rest of the show. But after that episode, and after the credits, there is a brief scene where Kaoru breaks out of the hospital.
Yep.
In his wheelchair, heavily bandaged, and goes to Kojiro's restaurant, where he goes every night, by the way. They say they hate each other, but he goes to the restaurant every single night. And he's like, hi, give me wine. And Kojiro's like, you are supposed to be in the hospital. He's like, I don't care. I wasn't going to be able to sleep there anyway. Give me wine. And they bicker a little bit. They talk about Adam, what he's doing, what they remember from him. Joe talks about how he is all alone out there. He doesn't have friends to skate with, blah, blah, blah. While he goes to grab a bottle of wine. And when he comes back, Kaoru, who canonically has anxiety and sleep problems, cannot get to sleep easily, usually has to have Carla play a specific lullaby for him to get to sleep, which is why he said he couldn't sleep at the hospital. Kojiro comes out with a wine bottle, and Kaoru is passed out on the bar. Because he's comfortable in Joe's restaurant and Joe's presence.
He feels safe.
And he feels safe there, and he's now asleep. Joe pours them both a glass anyway. And he picks up his own glass, and he goes, we're not alone, though. Right, Kaoru? And he clinks their glass together. And that's where the episode ends.
A good one.
And they love each other. They love each other.
Yep, they do. You can't deny that. You cannot deny it at all. And I adore it to the end of my days. Speaking of end of episodes, credits, the beginning opening theme, which is called Paradise. It's good.
It is a bop. It's very fun. It's very silly. The opening sequence is fun. It's just the boys skateboarding around. You get a dramatic intro of all the major characters, which is why I count Shadow as one of the major characters, because he's in the intro sequence. Same with Mia. Technically, Tadashi is not in the intro sequence, but I feel like if everyone else gets to be included, Tadashi does too. He deserves it. Mm-hmm. It's really fun, though, because if you watch the opening sequence, you do get to see basically the entire plot of the show. It tells you exactly what's about to happen.
I mean, a lot of openings do that, I feel like.
Yeah, that's how anime openers work, which I love. That's why I usually like to watch them as closely as I can, because I can, what is about to happen? How is this going to go down? Mm-hmm. I understand what's probably a metaphor, but I get it now. And it's great. It's very fun for me. The closing credits, I unfortunately don't know the name of. It is in Japanese. But it's very fun. It's very silly. In that, as soon as it ends, you get to these cute little cartoon palm trees that kind of dance to the music.
Yeah, those are cute.
Which is very cute until it happens where Cherry's face gets smashed in by a skateboard, and then it just goes da 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 da, and you're like, I need you to not do that. I'm dead inside. Yeah. So it was a meme for a while that the palm trees were actually the nemesis of all skate watchers. Mm-hmm. And I have seen a couple of times where people have cosplayed as the palm trees.
That's great.
And they go around cons, and people will be dead characters on the ground, and the palm trees will just be swaying and dancing above them. And I think it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I truly love it. Let's see. What do I have? Ooh, I wanted to talk about all the different versions of isolation and depression.
Oof, yes. Because in this show, it's really good.
Yes, because For All This is truly a happy show.
It touches on the other side of life.
It really does. There are so many different characters that actually get
depressed.
Hit by this.
Yeah.
Reki is the primary example.
Yes.
We follow Reki the closest.
Yes.
But throughout the show, the I guess inciting incident for him is his first beef with Adam. Now Adam is the best skater. Up until the point of the show, he's the best skater. He's the founder of S. No one has ever beaten him in a beef, as far as anyone knows. And he Reki challenges him to a beef, even though we know Reki's not remotely close to being the best skater. Mm-hmm. But he challenges Adam because Adam was insulting Mia and hurting Mia, and he's like, I'm not gonna let you do this to my new bestie. No way. Mm-hmm. Which good for him. And the thing is, Adam didn't just race him, he humiliated him, and he actually injured him.
Yeah.
Like...
Not cool.
It's terrifying, and we see that it actually, like, traumatizes Reki.
Yeah.
He has, like, nightmares of it. He has to deal with the injury. Like, it's
bad.
It's bad. And so he knows he's not as good of a skater as his friends, who are all, like, now considered pros at S. Like, everyone knows everyone's name in his crew except for Reki. He's injured. Longa wants to beef against Adam, and Reki is like, I just did that, and there's a chance I could have died.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And Longa's like, I don't know, it sounds fun. Yeah. And he's like, you're not hearing what I'm saying.
To Reki.
Exactly. And so he tries to... It starts with him just kind of falling behind when they skate. There's also, like, during the beach episode, which, first of all, the first half of that, very good beach episode. Very silly, very fun, adorable. And then there's this, like, chunk in the middle that's actually, like, very serious, where Reki gets scared because they all decide to beef on, like, in the night, in the dark, and he can't because it's a place he doesn't know. His arm is injured, so he shouldn't be doing this anyway. Everyone else wanted to, like, try to do a race on an unfamiliar track and try to read the map while they go, and also there might be ghosts on the island at night, and Reki's scared of ghosts. So it's like, Reki gets left behind so fast, and there's no one there with him. Eventually Longa circles back and realizes, he's like, oh, where is Reki? Where'd he go? And circles back.
Longa.
And then the ghosts do happen, or I guess the yokai, whatever they are, come back, or do come after them.
Yokai.
Yeah, it's an unexplained phenomenon, so cool. It is yokai. But they, then everyone gets caught up in that, and so, like, you lose the seriousness a little bit. But it's another thing of him being left behind, and then Longa wants to join Adam's tournament, and Reki's like, you can't do that. So now he's, like, not being listened to. He's scared for Longa. He's hurt. And it's just like, and then he sees, like, Longa is really, like, he's seeing more and more of what Longa can do that he cannot.
Yeah, it's sad.
And he doesn't want to be left behind by others, so instead he leaves himself.
The good old...
yeah. Removing. Just, like, self-isolation.
A lot of people have that.
Mm-hmm. So he dips. He goes home. He stops going to school, like, he dips, like, ditches school for a little bit. He just, like, tries to avoid all of his friends. And, like, that also, like, sets him, you know, it only makes it worse. There's, like, a time where he sees a story on the TV about, like, someone who used to be in the sport, and they're like, well, I wasn't very good at it, so I decided to be a supporter of the sport instead of, like, active in the sport. And Reki's like, okay, maybe I can just, like, cheer Longa on instead of skating myself. So he goes to the sidelines of one of Longa's beefs against Joe. And he does. He cheers Longa on and helps Longa win the race because Longa was sad that Reki wasn't there. Helps with the race. And it's very helpful. It's good, but it doesn't help Reki with what he wants to do because he doesn't want to just stand on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And then Shadow gets beat up by someone and gets pulled from the tournament. And in the same day, Reki goes to, like, check on Shadow, sees Mia, and Mia's like, you promised me you wouldn't leave the group, and now Reki feels guilty. So Reki leaves, and in this one day he's been yelled at, feels guilty, gets beat up, gets hit by a car, and then wakes up at a love hotel because Snake is a normal person. Because Tadashi has normal reactions to things. He hit Reki directly outside the hospital.
It's ridiculous.
I will literally never get over that decision.
I mean, you're
a love
the
hotel.
right-hand man of a politician. You're gonna do some shady shit, like...
Just put him in the car, give him the money in the car, and then take him to the hospital. Tadashi! Doesn't matter. Tadashi's an idiot. I love him. Anyway, that's where he has his realization, because Tadashi's like, hello, I hit you with my car. I will give you this much hush money if you don't tell anyone ever. And Reki's like, I'm not going to tell anyone anything. Shut up. I don't need your money. I need to leave. And Tadashi's like, you're that kid from S, aren't you? Like, what are you doing, like, don't skate. Just like, don't skate. Have you considered not skating? And Reki was like, well, I was until you said that, and now I'm gonna skate every day for the rest of my life, and also fuck you.
Yeah.
And does actually have like it's a really beautiful scene, because like we see Reki from one angle yelling at Snake, and then on the other angle, so it looks like he's facing Reki, is Longa watching videos of Reki when he taught Longa how to skate. So it looks like they're having a conversation, and Reki gets to like, is telling Tadashi all the things that he loves about skating. Yeah. And he reminds himself why he does it. And it's not to be good at it. It's not to be better than anyone else. It's because it's fun, and it's because it's what he loves to do. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, oh yeah, I love to skate. It has nothing to do with being good or anything. I'm doing it for the love of it. Yeah. And then Tadashi's like, you are such an idiot. I'm leaving now. And then Reki's like, okay. And then he's like, wait, no, take me with you. I don't know how to leave a love hotel, please. Wait. And it's great and it's cute.
Yeah.
And that's also the moment when Longa, looking at this video of Reki, goes, Reki, my love of skating is because of you.
Funny.
The pause is so long.
It's very intentional.
It's so good.
It's so funny.
But it just, like, watching Reki kind of like fall into these, I don't want to call them pitfalls, but like just the slump, I guess. It feels very natural and like very realistic. And like, I don't think this, like, his sister and his mom and his grandma all notice that like something is wrong with Reki, because he's not excited to leave for school anymore. He doesn't see Longa anymore.
Right.
Longa comes looking for him. Like, they recognize that something is very wrong.
They just don't know what to do.
They just don't know how to help. And Koyomi is the first one to help in that, like, she sees him slumped on the floor, watching this TV program. Yeah. And she comes in and she's like, at least like when you were skating, you were like kind of cool. Like, she's like, I recognize that you have stopped doing the thing you love.
Yep, that's a warning sign.
May I prompt you into doing the thing?
Yeah.
It doesn't work, but like she is trying to help with the problem, which I adore her for.
Definitely.
I would say that like Reki, I think, is just it's very much the most like obvious version of this, but I think it's very interesting. Mia, we see actually on the like tail end of his kind of journey with this.
Yeah, you do.
But we get a lot of flashbacks to his story. I mentioned his friend Takashi earlier. We see that he and Takashi started skating together when they were like really little, and they were friends. They skated together, and then Mia got really good at skating. And as he got better and started winning awards, he's like a nationals hopeful for skateboarding. So like he's very, very good.
Yeah.
As he started getting better and more recognized, his friends started to think that Mia thought he was better than them, which from what we can see in the flashbacks, like Mia did not care.
Yeah, he just didn't care, and a lot of people like assume that they're like arrogant, but they don't know what's actually happening.
And the friends just see him getting the awards and assume like, oh, like he's too good for us now. Whereas Mia is just like, I have an award now. Let's go skate now.
Yeah.
And it's like, so the friends at one point confront him, and they're like, the phrase is, oh God, what was it? It's a hero shouldn't hang around with slimes, because Mia's whole thing is like being he's really good at RPGs and video games, so a lot of his phrasing comes from that, and apparently Takashi did the same. Heroes shouldn't hang around with slimes. So his friends are all like, you're too good for us, like we wouldn't want to, like, you don't want to be around us. I mean, it's like, no, like why are you saying that? Like I never said anything like that. And his friends just cut him off. And from there, like, Mia turns it around on them. He's like, okay, then that's just who I'll be. He isolates. He doesn't take on any new friends. He focuses on being perfect with his sport. We briefly see Adam engage with him, because Adam is also a perfectionist with his his abilities. He tells me like, move your front foot 2 centimeters forward or whatever, and it works because with Mia so focused on being a perfectionist, he's able to make that correction.
Yeah.
And so he's fully focused on perfectionism and staying locked down as just him. His friends stay angry at him, and they spread that anger to everyone else on his team, and it just kind of keeps a vicious cycle.
Yeah. It's what happens when people have an inferiority complex because they're comparing themselves to people who are better than them, and like letting that like get in the way of what the other person actually thinks. Like
Absolutely.
They're making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah. It colors every interaction.
It's very sad.
It is. And then he sees Longa, this new promising skater, and he's like, all right, just another person to beat to push myself further.
Yeah.
And then Longa beats him.
And then, boom, it gets shattered. Gotta do some soul searching.
Yeah, he's like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I've just lost. What does that make me? Except instead of them being cruel to him like he would have been to them, they're just like, great, that was fun. Let's do this again sometime. You're our best friend now.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what to do with that at first.
It's great, like, just having something that doesn't fit the mold. It leads to a lot of character development.
It's so good. And I think it's so funny how fast it cracks for him.
Yeah, it cracks very fast.
Because he's, like, angry at the loss. And then Reki is suddenly right there, like, squishing up his face. And he's like, oh,
You're
don't
so
be
cute.
grumpy. We're best friends now. And then Mia, like, laughs. And it just breaks for him. And he's like, I can laugh at this loss.
Like, oh,
and
it's so good.
Reki immediately becomes ride or die for him so fast because Adam shows up, says something that immediately brings Mia's mood down again. And Reki is like, no, you can't say that. Because
Reki's like, you are signed sibling.
Exactly. Because Adam comes in and Reki's like, oh my god, it's Adam! And like fanboys. And then he says the insult. Yeah. And he's like, actually, I don't care who you are. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And he gets this beef with Adam, and Mia shows up where they just like hang out the next day. It's like, you have to train so hard to be Adam, and I'm gonna be responsible for that.
Yeah.
You chose me, so I'm choosing you right back.
They
and
have
it's
a
like,
good relationship.
oh, it's so good.
It is good. I like
and it's because of that relationship that he's also one of the first people to notice that Reki is pulling away from the group. After the vacation, he's like, hey, has anyone seen Reki? Hey, does Reki seem down?
Yeah. Longest like, what?
Yeah, Longa's just like, yeah, that's weird. Anyway.
Yeah, Longa has no thoughts.
Poor Longa. He's like, I think he knows something's about it, he just don't want to like acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Whereas Mia is so paranoid about, not paranoid, but like he's been through it before.
Yeah, he doesn't want to lose it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why, like in that scene in the elevator, he's just like, you promised you wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
And I think that's also an interesting comparison because like his friends left because they thought Mia thought he was too good for them. Mm-hmm. Reki leaves not because he thinks the others think they're too good, but in my perception of it is that he thinks that he'll hold them back, or maybe just that he'll be left behind.
No, definitely, yes.
And it's like, it's the same result of him losing the group, leaving the group, but very different causes.
But it's like everything that's like, it's very also like a comparison of ability is always present there, and I think
absolutely,
like when it comes to like sports and like performance and stuff like that, that's a really good theme, because it's like, am I doing this thing because I enjoy it and I have fun with it, or is it because like I want to be the best and I want to beat people, like competition? Those are two very big motivations, and I think it's cool to explore that. Absolutely.
I truly love it. Let's see. And then I noticed, Tadashi also has kind of his own flavor of isolation.
Yeah.
And it's depression in a different form, where it's just like he's truly gone numb.
Yep, dissociating.
Yeah, like for real. I do think he's like dissociated for most of the first half of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He blames himself for what Inosuke's become, in that like, he taught Inosuke how to skateboard.
Yeah.
He helped Inosuke, like, I it's technically not shown, but it seems to be kind of implied that he helped Inosuke like get out to skate as a teen and like meet Cherry and Joe.
I thought that was implied.
And then like later Inosuke's father found the skateboard, found out what Inosuke had been doing, and he burned the skateboard and just shipped Inosuke off to America.
Yep.
And
good old USA.
Right? And Inosuke blames Tadashi for that.
Yeah.
For the getting caught. Or not necessarily even for that, but because Tadashi never stood up for that. Mm-hmm. Never was like, hey, sir, maybe don't burn the board. It's like, what could he do? He worked for the man.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a power differential there. Like,
yeah. So he blames himself for, like, Inosuke's anger and what he's become. And is, you know, part of him is like, I never should have shown him how to skate in the first place, even though it was the only thing that brought this child joy.
It's like this person is so bad at making bad decisions, like you want to feel like you had some level of control over that because it makes more sense.
Exactly. And to, like, try to make up for his wrongs, he just lets Adam, like, use and abuse him.
Ugh.
And it's just like, bud, you deserve so much better.
You need therapy.
And then, like, in that, he's also, like, I mean, yes, there are other, like, servants in the household, but he is the only person to, like, be caring for Inosuke.
Yes, definitely.
Like, Inosuke his father is dead. We don't know anything about his mother, but he has 3 aunts that are alive, and they are abusive as fuck. And I cannot, like, I hate Adam, but, like, I would happily murder his aunts. Like, they taught him that love is literally pain, in that they, like, beat him, and then were like, this is because we love you, and he's like, yes, I love that, thank you for my loving aunties, and you're like, no wonder you're like this.
Yeah, that's, like, straight up child abuse.
Ooh, boy. And so Tadashi is like, I know what he has gone through and what he's currently going through, and I can't abandon him to this household alone.
Yeah, he cares about him too much.
He does. And so it's just like, he's alone in this.
Yeah.
Hated or blamed by the person he is trying to protect. And it's just...
Painful.
God, I love Tadashi.
He's a good character.
He's very good. He's a fascinating character, and that's why he deserves to be a main character and not just relegated to my honorable mentions.
Fair.
And then the last one I had on this topic was just kind of like Inosuke, which, like, we can, I think, safely agree that he is in some sort of... I don't know if it's mania or if it's depression. Quite frankly, maybe it's both.
Yeah. It could be, like, mania masking depression.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Because, like,
that tracks.
We know that his goal, ever since, like, even in high school, was to find his perfect Eve and to bring that Eve to Eden, which, in most simple terms, is, like, the zone. I don't know what that would really mean for his life. But basically, he wants to escape his fucked up life with a partner who matches him. Yep. And his only way to do that is skateboarding, apparently. But, like, when Joe talks to Cherry about, like, Adam and what he's been up to and, like, what he is now that he's returned, he's like, he's skating alone. He's always been skating alone. We have always skated together, you and me, and now us with this group, and he has never had that.
Yeah.
Match Blossom's literally always been together, like, since they were, like, toddlers or kindergarten or something, like, right around that range. And, like, Adam has always been alone.
An outsider.
And always reaching for someone and never been able to find them.
Yeah.
Now, usually when he finds someone he thinks might be them, that person ends up falling off a cliff. So it's not like it's just dating around or something.
Right.
It's dangerous for the other person. So it's not like this is a healthy search, but it's just like, it's desperation.
Yes, it is.
So,
yes. Good.
I don't know how long will you let me go?
I
don't have too much. I'm desperate to cover, but I have a couple other topics I could maybe do.
Speed run it.
Okay, cool. I did consider love languages of the characters within some couples and then as individuals, because I just thought that was an interesting topic, and I think it's fun that you can pick it up from the show.
Yeah.
So, like, Matcha Blossom as a couple, their love language is straight up just fighting. Sometimes physically, sometimes just bickering.
Bantering.
But it's they like the stimulation of fighting.
Yeah.
For Tadai, there's a straight up pet play. They are not subtle. That's their thing.
Very true.
For Ranga, it is info dumping and listening. Reki would be the one info dumping, Longa would be the one listening.
They're autistic for autistic.
They really are. On individual, on an individual scale, Joe's love language is gifts, generally in the form of food.
Yes.
Kaoru is time and words of affirmation.
Yeah.
That boy needs words of affirmation so much. He has so much anxiety, but also like his favorite thing to do is go to Joe's restaurant and just spend the time there.
Yeah, quality time.
Reki's is gifts, usually in that he builds these custom boards for people, particularly Longa. Longa's is also quality time and like listening to you and what you have to say.
Yeah.
Shadow is providing strength. The thing he does for
Acts
his
of
manager.
service.
Yeah. The thing we see him specifically do for his manager, he's like, you said you like strong men. I'm gonna win this tournament for you. This tournament you don't know about, but I'm gonna do it to prove I'm a man for you.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. Mia is also quality time and just general support for people. We see him go to like help Reki train for Adam's beef.
Mm-hmm.
Tadashi is acts of service. No question.
100%.
And then Inosuke is performance presentation. Just that's what he does. That's how he like shows he's ready for a situation. Like he will dazzle the fuck. And then also gifts as well, I believe.
Yeah.
I also have a section here called "They're Just Like Me for Real," which is just here's why I like some of the characters, why they're like me. Kaoru and Reki are both absolutely ADHD, if not ADHD.
Yeah.
Because they have their hyper focuses that involve creating, programming, and board design, respectively, and they have their specific routines, such as going to Luce every night or Reki having the same route to meet Longa every morning. Kaoru and Kojiro love arguing over pointless things just for the fun of it. That is one of my favorite things to do. Me and my roommate will do that all the time. Mia, my note for Mia is just Mia being a little bitch with his friends just for funsies.
Yeah.
Which, like, yes. I even do have a note here for Adam, because Adam just being so dramatic and over the top.
That's fair.
Which, like, if I could set off fireworks at my next birthday party, I absolutely would. Tadashi just wants a nap, which same.
Yes.
And then Hirumi loves flowers and gimmicks. I fucking love a gimmick.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will do just this one last bit,
okay.
I think. Because we've covered personal plots and arcs, I think, by going other ones, and then we've discussed that one as well. So the last note I will say is, what is your happiness? Which is the question they ask at the very beginning, and then in the final scene. Because those two scenes are the same scene, just one is Reki, and then one is a mirror image Longa doing the same thing Reki did in the very beginning. And Reki talks about a TV show he watched where a hero asked, what is your happiness? And first of all, seeing the two boys doing the same thing, like going through the same actions, meeting each other to skate. At the beginning, Reki says, or doesn't say, but shows that his happiness is skating. But by the end, both of them, their shared happiness is skating together. It's being together, it's sharing that. And I just...
It's so cute.
It's good.
Yes.
It's good. Skate is good. And I could continue talking about the show. I could do like episode commentary. I could do like so much analysis on every single character. I could go for so long about the show, but like, I think honestly that's where the show ended, and I think that's where we should end.
Okay.
That's like their happiness is skating together, doing a thing they love with a person they love.
Yes, that is like the definition for me as well.
And it's
a good thing.
I love it. And it's good, and I love the show, and if you haven't watched it, check it out.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's like 12 episodes.
12 episodes with a half episode after, I think, 9, which is a recap. But it is hosted by Mia and Shadow while they watch on Carla, so it's really silly.
It's good. It's a good show for real, and... want to say thank you to all the bitches, bros, and non-binary hoes out there for listening.
God, when I heard that translation... Oh my god.
I just could not believe it. I was like, is this real?
They can't have
really
actually
do this?
Oh fuck, I forgot to talk about my one thing. Can I do one last
yes,
tiny
of
little
course.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I meant to do this, but it was all the way up at the top. This is just a brief thing about voice actors.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
one of Hunter's favorite voice actors is in this.
Yes, actually a couple that I really like, but yes, one of my faves. So Reki is voiced by Matt Shipman. I actually met a handful of these voice actors all at WaifuCon, because they had like a lineup of like just a bunch of the skate boys all next to each other.
Like,
so I just like
managed,
it was great. They had like a picture. They're like, "Hey, skate reunion." I just managed to like walk down the line and talk to all of them. It was so good. So Matt Shipman I met at WaifuCon. He signed some art for my Sunflower fic, in which Reki takes on the skate named Sunflower. So I told him that. He's like, "Do you want me to sign it as Sunflower?" And I was like, yes! It was wonderful. Longa is voiced by Howard Wong, who is also the voice of Julien in Heaven Official's Blessing. He's wonderful. I have not met him but he seems absolutely delightful. Joe, voiced by Jonas Scott, whom I love so dearly. I've had the chance to meet him twice. First time was at WaifuCon. He's so funny. I really enjoy him. He also signed one of Media's arts from Sunflower. I do need to track down literally all of these people again to sign this other media art that has all the characters in it, and I'm gonna get it signed for her as well. That's my personal mission. But when I got him to sign the Sunflower art, if anyone here is familiar with Drawfee, Jonas Scott has become very friendly with one of the artists, Karina, and Karina at one point on Drawfee drew another character he plays, Legoshi from Beastars, as a truck. So I did print off the Legoshi truck on just like plain printer paper and got him to sign Legoshi truck, which he signed as Jonas Scott, and then put woo beep beep, which I still to this day have like stuck to my office wall, and I think is the funniest thing I own. Cherry is voiced by Damon Mills, also incredibly wonderful. Also met him at WaifuCon. He signed some Sunflower art. He's just a lovely man. Adam is voiced by David Wald. Have not met him, but I'm sure he's delightful. Shadow is voiced by Chris Guerrero. Met him at WaifuCon. I unfortunately did not have Sunflower art or anything by Media at the time, but I got him, there was no one at his table when I went, so I actually was just able to like chat with him for like 10 straight minutes.
That's cool.
Yeah, we talked about like hopefully there'll be a season 2, and I was like, cool, what would you want to see in season 2? He's like, Shadowka. Let's get some more, get some like Shadow Oka content. Let's get some Shadow Oka. I was like,
no hesitation.
Yes, my man. And then also we talked about Alfred from Moriarty the Patriot, because he plays Alfred. So we just like talked for like 10 minutes about Alfred and like Shadow Oka. He's an incredibly nice man. Mia is voiced by Ryan McKeon. I have not met him, but I've watched some of his streams. He's a very chill guy. Tadashi is voiced by Brandon Johnson. Have not met him either, but like I'm sure he's delightful. Oka is voiced by Zena Robinson. I did meet him at Anime Frontier. He signed Media's art. He was super chill, incredibly nice.
Yeah, he was cool.
And then also, if y'all are like into Jonas Scott, again, voice of Joe, he's also a VTuber now and has a band. His VTuber is in a band called Midnight Wolf, I believe.
Cool.
Or maybe that's his song. Something like that. Check it out. It's very good. And cool. I have a really cool risographed print from his VTuber band that he signed at Frontier, or Anime Frontier, which is not relevant, but I just think it's funny. So, anyway, what's your happiness?
Yes, what is your happiness? Do y'all like skate? Let us know your opinions.
Hit us up,
because we definitely share all of our opinions, and we want to know
many
y'all's
opinions
as well. Like, opinions are cool. Like, we love talking about it. So
hit us up, email us, hit us up on our various socials. Join us in the Discord.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and keep giving us requests, like if you want us to talk about anything. If we have both seen it, it will move to the top of the list. If one of us has seen it, we might put it in the middle list. If none of us have seen it, it's going to the bottom.
But it'll go on the list. We'll figure it out.
On the list.
We'll get there.
We will get there, because we have a lot to talk about. And like, this is great for both of us. So thanks for listening.
Bye, y'all.